What's up everyone, I'm back. Today I'm going to be talking about why I think peptides are pretty overhyped. Now, the transformations you have seen on TikTok about the guy takes peptides and then he has a lot more bone mass or a lot more forward growth. Usually it's just angles and lightning, I'm not going to lie. I know it seems like I'm just talking a lot of shit, but we can do the same thing with primal diet transformations. You see that suddenly they have more bone mass or like they just look so much better because that's just what happens when you get leaner, hit puberty and just have good hormones. You don't need to take peptides for that. I mean, I took a picture of my side profile. My chin looked like it had a bunch of downward growth, but then I moved a little bit further away from the camera and then suddenly chin was like my side profile was significantly better. It was a pretty crazy difference, and it was just like a 5 second difference of me changing not even the angle. I just moved further away from the camera and somehow the lens distortion like improved my side profile, the appearance of my chin a lot, and I actually looked significantly better in the second picture. I could have posted on TikTok and said that, oh guys, I took peptides and that changed my forward growth, but no, it was just lighting and angles. It wasn't even lighting, it was just angles actually. So do not believe these transformations where the guy like changes the angle a little bit and puts on a cap that hides his big ass forehead that makes him look a little bit better. You don't need peptides to have a glow up, that's for sure. It's actually better to just health max. So yeah, instead of ordering some expensive ass peptides from China, you could just health max and maybe get surgery if you need that. Alright, so now let's move over to the Peter Griffin video, because I know that's the only type of videos you TikTok cells are willing to watch.
Let's expose how GH peptides can affect bone growth, height, and overall development. Growth hormone is a key driver of skeletal growth. It activates osteoblasts to build new bone and boosts IGF-1, which lays down collagen and...
Yeah, you know how else you can boost your IGF-1? By getting enough sleep, by eating raw butter, for example, or animal fats, which will actually help you produce those hormones, because cholesterol, which animal fat is very high in that's the pre-molecule for testosterone. I'm not saying that peptides are like the worst thing. It could be useful for some people they're never going to diet max anyways and they live in New York where it's almost impossible to be healthy. Diet maxing or just health maxing in general, that's going to be a lot more convenient for your health, your wallet, and just your future and the way you feel. You're not going to get these weird side effects. I know they're not going to kill you usually, but you're not going to get these weird side effects from becoming healthy.
And minerals. For someone still growing, this is what allows bones to lengthen and increase height. For adults, higher GH can increase bone mass, muscle, and fat metabolism.
I mean, our ancestors had very nice skulls and they didn't need any peptides, did they? If you were fed the right food from day one, then you obviously won't need peptides. I feel like the people nowadays are thinking that they're missing something. They need to take peptides. They need to do some unnatural solution, but you just need to go back to nature. You just need to start becoming healthy again, and you'll actually realize how much more attractive you are when you improve your health markers, get lean, and finish puberty.
For example, CJC 1295 with ipamorelin boosts natural GH pulses that researchers study for bone density and body composition. MK...
It's like someone taking the GHK, I think it was, these types of peptides that like improve your skin, or Accutane to fix acne, even though you could just fix your diet. I can understand how fixing your diet might be pretty complicated because, it takes a long time to see results and you have to be very autistically specific with not eating like pepper, for example, because that contains toxins. I mean, acne is just your body detoxing from the skin.
677 is another, known for raising GH steadily and increasing IGF-1, which influences both muscle and bone pathways. But it doesn't come with no risk. In younger people, it may fuse growth plates early and cap height permanently.
You can look at it as people who grow fast, too fast, to a point where their body doesn't really catch up. There was a kid in my school who grew really fast and had like knee pain and he looked really stiff. He looked like he was uncomfortable in his body.
In adults,
that's what peptides could cause. I mean, if you overdo peptides, you're going to be in a place where your body has more testosterone or IGF-1 or whatever you're trying to boost than it's naturally supposed to have. Anything that's unnatural could cause some issues, at least in the long term for sure.
Overstimulation can cause joint pain, swelling, abnormal bone growth, or even brittle bones if turnover gets disrupted. I'm not telling anyone to use peptides,
I'm not telling anyone to use peptides either.
just breaking down the science. Let's talk about the side effects of peptides, Stewie, because people online get this so wrong.
Really? I keep hearing TikTok saying peptides are dangerous. Is that true?
That's the problem. Peptides isn't just one thing. You've got GLP-1s for weight loss, BPC for healing, GHK for skin, but also things like HGH fragments and MK compounds. It's a spectrum. Fearmongers lump it all together and just say dangerous, without ever explaining what or why.
So, are there side effects or not?
Of course there can be side effects. Saying there are none is just as uninformed, but most of them are minimal, like constipation, nausea, or diarrhea.
Yeah, I'd rather not get those weird side effects. Like, I'd rather not have diarrhea and feel good instead. Feel like everything's in the perfect place. Like that's literally how you feel when you get sunlight and you eat the right food and you avoid DMF. You feel fresh all the time, and I could imagine how staying unhealthy but also taking peptides to mimic being healthy pretty much, how that could make you feel like shit.
Stuff that's totally manageable and honestly no different from what you see with regular prescription meds people use on an everyday basis.
Then why does everyone treat it like some scary drug?
Because people have this mental image. Injecting equals steroids. Steroids are dangerous. Therefore, peptides must be bad. That logic is broken. Steroids can lock your body in and mess you up long term. Peptides aren't like that.
So you think peptides are here to stay?
Absolutely. Within the next decade, I bet peptides will be as normal as taking multivitamins or protein shakes.
Oh, this is some brain rot stuff, bro. And yeah, guys, let's everyone just start taking peptides. You know, it should be just as popular in the next 10 years as protein shakes because they're just so perfect and they have pretty much no side effects. I mean, you get constipation or diarrhea, a little bit of nausea, but guys, don't eat healthy, don't sunbathe instead of taking peptides because that's not optimal.
People will just use them to supplement health, recovery.
Yeah, that's the perfect thing for your health. Bro, this guy, I just had a brain fart watching this video because this guy is talking about peptides being just as popular as multivitamins and protein shakes in the next 10 years. Again, you don't need peptides to have a glow up. You don't need that stuff. Stop listening to these TikTok influencers who have no idea what they're talking about. Instead of taking peptides, you should health max, eat a raw primal diet, and not exercise too much because that's not going to be good for your height maxing and aging. So you don't want to be a gym cell. Obviously, you don't have to sit down on a chair all day like a Discord mod. You can, of course, do your sports that you like to do. But yeah, just don't sit in your basement and lift some man-made metal like Otis says. So eating a lot of dairy in puberty, that's going to help you. Raw dairy is better because it's more nutrient dense. And raw butter, I mean, that's just a good source of fats. That's going to help you produce some sex hormones. If you know, you know. And cheese, high in vitamin K2, which will help you build your bones. Ideally, you should eat mostly raw meat. Raw liver is very nutrient dense. So you need to build your body. You need the nutrients and then you need the right signaling from your brain. You know how some people, they don't eat anything special, but they're really tall because they have this tumor in their brain that tells their body to produce lots of growth hormones. If you sleep well and you are just healthy in general, you're going to produce more growth hormone. You get the point. Basically, you want to get lots of sleep, always be rested, always have enough nutrients in your body, and never overtrain. If you have some sort of flaw like a recessed chin, this guy got Bimax. This is a pretty nice transformation. No amount of peptides would have gotten him that much forward growth, done this sort of bone change. But yeah, surgery does not require you to get don't need to inject yourself with peptides. You don't need to mess with your health. You don't need to risk this type of, you don't need to mess with your hormones. You can just get actual bone change or ear canthoplasty, which is doesn't even need you, or even like a sort of like a later surgery. I mean, no amount of peptides are going to fix your facial flaws that are not related to bone mass. So surgery is a lot better than peptides when it comes to looks maxing. Let me know what you think about peptides in the comments. You can join my Patreon community for $5. You can message me one-on-one anytime. You can vote on video topics. Click the link in the description if you're interested. See you guys soon.